right, everybody. That was such an amazing game. Start to finish, really, that was just a fantastic game. Kraken getting the win in Colorado. Don't think many of us would have predicted that before the night started, but they played absolutely fantastic. They did everything that you need to do to go into a hostile building against one of the best teams in the NHL and walk away with a W.
Yeah, I mean, it was a complete effort all around, and it's the perfect continuation of momentum off of their last game against St. Louis, where really rough start, but they got everything together and they were able to tie the game and get it to overtime, earn a point. And it was one of those games where it didn't feel like a loss. Everyone just felt a lot more
Mhm.
positive, in the locker room and everything. And I think part of that is because they sensed that they had really built something. But in order to make it count, you need to go out there the
Mhm.
next game and continue to build on it and show that it's for real. And they did that tonight in a way that I think they really struggled to do last season.
Agreed. I think they did everything that they had to do, as you said. Grubauer made saves for those, the first bit that he was in there. Well, obviously, we're all awaiting word on what the deal is with him right now. Obviously, coming out after he got hurt, trying to stop that game tying goal. So you have that aspect of it. You got another power play goal tonight. You were excellent on the PK. You had, all four lines were rolling, right? We talked after the last game. Hey, these lines, they really seem to work. Hope that Hackstall sticks with them. Stuck with them tonight, and all those lines look really good. Shane Wright gets the most ice time he's ever gotten before, and his line was super high energy, high tempo, always playing in the opposing team's zone. The Wenberg, Burakovsky, Bjorkstrand line never seemed to be playing in their own zone. Vince Dunn had an incredible bounce back game. Justin Schultz, Alexiak, there's maybe some issues there, but for the most part, like, everybody did what they had to do. They stepped up big against the McKinnon line, which they, were going to have to do for sure. Like, they just played a really, really solid game. When they were up by 2 and Colorado simplified things, dump and chase, all that stuff, the Kraken adjusted as well to limit chances. So it was a really, really good game for them. Greg C in here with the super chat. Gatorade's on me, boys. My favorite Kraken game ever in terms of the forwards playing defense. I now just want Hackstall to keep these lines together. Thank you so much for the super chat, Greg. Totally there with you. Never change these lines, or at least not for a little while.
Yeah, until they give you a really good reason to change them, don't change the lines. They've really hit on something. We talked about this last post game live in the Blues game. They were all just working so well, and just so great to see that he's made the pieces fit. Because from the offseason, we all could see the pieces were there. You
Yeah.
just had to make them fit right. And I think he's finally found the right combos. And thank you again, Greg C, for the super chat. Really appreciate that.
Yeah, exactly. So tons of comments, obviously, as can be expected after this one. So, gonna try to get to as many of them
Yeah.
as we can. Walt, do we know what happened to Grubauer yet? I'm assuming no. It would be really odd if a team was to tweet something out about it as of right now. We'll obviously wait for the post-game media availability to kind of come out. I'm not expecting really to know much from it, to be honest. That's just not really how things roll. They always want to take a day to evaluate, do any sort of diagnostics testing that they have to do. So that would be my
Yeah, the
guess.
way this usually goes is somebody asks, Axel's like, I don't have anything more for you on that, and that's what I'll get for now.
Yeah. Brian coming in with the super chat. We beat the Avs last year on their way to the cup. We beat the Avs this year with a new banner in the rafters and rings on their fingers. We're coming together. That was our team. Treats for Afra. Afra is right here. Do you want to come in? Come here. Oh, she backed up. All right. She's camera shy tonight. Sorry, Brian. But definitely make sure she gets a little something, something after this one. Yeah, I mean, we find ways to beat good teams, RJ. Beat the Avs, a couple times now, swept the Panthers last season. That's a big deal.
Yeah, it really is. And it shows that if the Kraken can just kind of get into the thick of a race, where the games are meaningful at the end of the year, even if you have a tough schedule, you can never rule out any potential points, which is great to see. It always makes it interesting too for the fans, as you're watching it, knowing that you can never just be like, oh, well, look, it's Colorado on the road. Afra,
Little appearance, little
she's
appearance.
here.
Kisses, yeah, kisses because of Kraken win. Thank you so much. All right. Duthan coming in with a super chat as well. Shout out to Schwartz's parabolic assist and Coolman's game winner. That was a fantastic play. We all had so much fun in the live game commentary with all the Patreon members, including Duthan. Thank you so much for being there for that one. But yes, Schwartz just skies it, and it hits Coolman perfectly in stride, lands right there on his stick. It was basically tape to tape.
Yeah, that was a great pass. I was debating, like, should I say that it's should I tweet that he's doing a Geno Smith impression? Like, he's done well enough this year. I'll give it to him. Yeah, that was a great assist, and Koeman runs right under it, just like any good wide receiver should do, and then puts the puck in the net, like a hockey player should do.
Yes.
So
best of
well
both
done,
worlds
Carson
there.
Coleman there.
Oh, it was a lot of fun. Brian just told my son who was watching, that's the same team that got run by the Canes. That was not the same effort. It wasn't at all, right? Like the team that showed up against the Blues last game and then the team that showed up tonight in Colorado, completely different than the ones that showed up against the Vegas Golden Knights and then the Hurricanes. Although I brought it up on Post Game Live, both of those games, they did, look okay in the third period. They didn't give up. They showed that they had fight in them. Those games were just too far gone. So I do think that there is a little bit more resiliency with this club and a little bit more fight effort, especially late in games.
Yeah, and you pointed that out, and I was kind of skeptical at the time, just like, the game was out of hand or whatever. But if you can get it close, it does matter, and we see that it can be replicated.
Yeah, exactly. And it's what you need to do to win games like tonight, to finish off a game against a really good team. Michael, let us know. Kraken team Twitter account put out Kraken Country, let's glide. Let's glide. Yes.
Perfect.
Hunter, best game in franchise history. It's definitely up there. I think we need a little bit more time to really, figure out if we would, say it's best game, but it's definitely
in that conversation.
5, 3. Yeah, it's up there.
Yeah,
for sure.
A super chat here from Sergeant Pickles.
Oh, okay. Sorry, it didn't pop up for me.
I know it didn't for me. I just happened to be looking at the bottom of the chat.
Yeah.
Sorry, everyone. But yeah, thank you for the super chat, Sergeant Pickles. Yep. You ready? Huge dub. Cue the dance party.
Let's go. Yes, it's a fantastic dance party day. We can definitely all get behind that. Oh, it's so good. We'll get to, speaking of Sergeant Pickles, we were talking about the studs and duds a little bit during the live game commentary. So we'll definitely get to that in a little bit. Happy birthday, Mike McBob. Got a birthday win. Let's go. Kraken Hawk, every season there's a game that launches or stunts a team's destiny. This was that game. They have been a hell of a lot stronger since the Blues game. This was a confidence booster game. Let's go. Yeah, worried that Vegas game was maybe the other, right? Like this was the game that was just going to set this bad tone for the team. But you know what? They fought back against the Blues, and they carried that momentum forward into this one. It's so good. I mean, it's just so nice to be able to feel like you can roll 4 lines that you can trust. We talked about Shane Wright and that fourth line staying out there for a defensive zone draw against Nathan McKinnon's line in a big time moment. Yes, Wright didn't actually take the face off, but the fact was they trusted him to be out there in that situation.
Yep. Yeah, and that's huge. And it also shows me, again, the little bits of the plan. Like, yes, Dave Haxtell's not going to tell us every little bit of what the plan is for Shane Wright. No good coach would kind of give that away. But I think we're starting to see the plan come together and the ways that they're looking to put him in positive spots and slowly ramp him up to get more and more responsibility. We saw it with, putting him out there with Burakovsky and Bjorkstrand after taking a big hit last game. And then tonight, that's a big test.
Yes.
When you're defending a 2-1 lead in the third period against the Nathan McKinnon line, to let him see the ice at all. I mean, that's a big test, and he passed. Yeah. And so just these little progression marks that you're seeing for Shane Wright. And it just becomes clearer for us too, watching this thing. Okay, there's the plan, and here's the little bit that we can see of it every single night.
Yep, exactly. It's totally huge. Loving what we're seeing from all that and the progress and everything. From Braun, great win. Kind of scared about Grubauer, but maybe not. Wenberg played great defense, and a goal like the one Coleman scored is really vital to the team's success. Yeah, I mean, there's a couple things in here for Grubauer. Michael, feel bad for Gruby. I'm usually a little critical of him, but sad to see him get hurt and in the middle of his best game of the year. Got Schultz up there. So Gru finally has a good game. Looks headed to IR. It's a tough one for sure. It's like this one black mark on the rest of this good game.
Yeah, and it's obviously something to worry about. And the Kraken get this win, but at what cost?
Yeah.
But the good news is, and I mentioned this during the live stream, Martin Jones has been solid this season.
Yeah.
And he's consistently looked good. And more than that, he's just given the team, basically a fair, like a fair opportunity, essentially, where if you play really poorly in front of him, he's probably not going to steal you a game.
Mm-hmm.
But if you do all the right things, he's going to reward you. And it's almost like an interesting incentive, kind of just to, like, Grubauer, in the first period, there were some really bad chances against that most goalies wouldn't have stopped. And I don't know, maybe you get a little bit more lax when that happens.
Yeah.
But with Martin Jones, you just know, he's going to give you, like, you're going to get out whatever you put in. And maybe that's a good motivator.
Yeah, agreed. Strife, we're definitely a better road team. Sure seems that way. Got 3 home games next week, though, to try to get that first win at CPA on the year. So we'll see. Let's see. Wenberg with a killer game, had good opportunities all night and shot the dang puck. And that huge face-off win at the end, that's from Michael. Wenberg did have a good game. It wasn't until the third period that it looked like that line had to play in the defensive zone. They drove possession like nobody's business in this one.
Yeah, they really did. I mean, we kind of noticed that too. Like, have we seen them in the D zone yet? And like I said at the time too, it's a good solution for Alex Wenberg. It's a kind of an issue they've had all last season of, okay, where do you put him in the lineup? Who do you put him with to get the most out of him? And I think these line combos, they've really hit on something.
Yeah, agreed. Let's see, where was the next one? Oh yeah, Gregory. We beat the reigning defending Stanley Cup champions in their house. This is a huge win. It is a huge win. This is a big one. Keep that positive momentum from the Blues game going. You can really build off of this one too. Some more stuff from Kraken Hawk there about Wenberg playing well. Looks like Coop, that shorthanded goal was so brutal. What happened? Why the rim around pass? It was not good. Well, it was actually fairly obvious what happened upon the first rewatch of the thing, which was that Vince Dunn and Andre Burakovsky switched spots. You had Andre Burakovsky playing back at the blue line, and Vince Dunn was playing in Burakovsky's spot on the half boards on the right side. And I don't know why. Like they switched because Dunn was driving into the zone, all that kind of stuff. It makes sense, like, in the moment to do it. But they had the opportunity. The puck was on the other side of the offensive zone. They had the opportunity to switch back. Neither one of them made the move to switch back. And so then what happens is the rim around comes. Vince Dunn doesn't get over hard to the boards. Burakovsky's super late at heading over to the boards because he's not a defenseman. He's not used to being back on the blue line. I got to think if Vince Dunn's back on the blue line, that puck never leaves the zone. But because they're both in spots where they're not used to seeing the puck or what they're supposed to be doing there, Vince Dunn's like, well, I'll let it go. The person playing the blue line will get it. Burakovsky's not used to playing the blue line, so he doesn't get over there to get it. And then the next thing you know, you've got like a 3-on-2, really it's a 3-on-1 going back the other way. And it's all just because they were out, those two players were out of position and they never made the switch back. So that one ticked me off a little bit, not gonna lie.
Yeah. And it illustrates kind of, again, the chaos of everything when you have two players playing out of position. It can be a little frustrating when you get yourself into that situation.
Yeah, that one was definitely rough. Sean pointed out McKinnon, 21-38 time on ice, no points. We did a fantastic job shutting down that line. And that line did look dangerous at times too, but the Kraken, they always stepped up to meet that challenge.
Yeah, they had their moments, but any game they're going to have their moments. That line, it's just so good. But yeah, that's the least dangerous I can kind of remember seeing them in most of the games I've watched them. So that's a great job, and it's the kind of thing that might get lost in a game like this when they're they're not doing much, but that's a huge accomplishment, and it factors in big.
Exactly. Michael, have to think they're going to keep Wright up past the 9 games. His time on ice doesn't make any sense if they're not going to do that, but makes a lot of sense if they're keeping him around. I mean, look, all along, going all the way back to last year's expansion draft, Ron Francis, when he's talked about these things, he has this way of just telling the truth.
Yep.
we're always trying to read like all this stuff into Ron Francis's statements, and we're thinking he's playing us because that's how most GMs operate. But Ron Francis just tends to kind of say the truth, and it's kind of funny. We all just keep falling for it. But yeah, I mean that's they said that's their plan, and it makes sense, and so it looks like they're sticking to it for now.
Yeah. No, agreed.
Sergeant Pickles. Okay, so we're gonna do studs and duds here, RJ. Sergeant
Okay.
Pickles studs for this one. Schwartzy plus Eberle's dad energy. Carson and the Kool-Aid man, and Schultz with the clutch blocks. Interesting, because I thought Schultz had a rough game. He did have those clutch blocks later, and he did kind of turn things around as the game went on. The beginning of the game, we were all talking on that live game commentary, like they survived that first 5 minutes because that was fairly chaotic.
Yes.
But yes, let's talk about studs. Coleman definitely has to be in there. We were talking about his effort long before that goal, RJ,
Yes.
that he scored to go ahead, and his work on the PK, just everything. Coleman was having a night, and so for him to
That
get the game
pass,
winner,
that between the legs,
yes,
facing the boards pass to McCann out front,
yep,
that's a skill play.
right. And then McCann's got to be another stud. Obviously, he was great. Gets an assist, gets the goal shortly after. How about that, everybody? We got the response goal to our own goal. That's
That's how
that's how
you
you know
do
the
it.
Kraken are feeling it when the response goal comes from your team. Um, but he was intercepting passes that Colorado was trying to use to clear the zone. He was picking things off in the neutral zone. He was always there behind the defense, always finding the soft spot so that, like on the goal he made a great read to go around the backside of the net, pop up on the other side, and then because the defense isn't paying attention to him there, he has the time to bang at the rebound a couple times until he finally get one past Francouz. So I thought Jared McCann definitely deserving of a stud. Who would you give kind of third stud of the game to, RJ?
Let's see. Third stud of the game. I mean, kind of, up and down the lineup there's different guys. I
Yeah.
liked again, that Donato, Wright, the
That
fourth
fourth
line,
line.
basically. It's hard to give it to just one guy because I think it was really a kind of a collaborative effort there
Yeah.
with that line. But we talked about just how fun to watch they are and how high energy they were, which earlier in the game, that's exactly what they needed. So I kind of want to give a shout out to them. It's just like the collective studs of the game, because my other one I was going to say is everybody after the Grubauer injury.
Yes.
And Aaron pointing out here, one shot allowed after Jones came in. Amazing. I think this is
Very
a
much
great
so.
example of a team rallying around their goalie and be like, look, this is a really tough spot that he's getting put into cold into this game, and we're going to show up for our teammates. We saw that in the St. Louis game in a different way with Ryan Donato, going right after the Blues player for checking Shane Wright, with Will Borgen standing up for his goalie, Martin Jones. This is a team that's going to rally around each other. Forget whatever else is going on the score. They have each other's backs 100%, and that's always going to be the case.
Yeah, and for a while there we were talking about it during the thing, Sergeant Pickles. Grubauer was right there with the studs. And I still think he deserves a stud. I mean, he was playing fantastic. He made so many huge saves, especially early on in that first period. Big time saves there. So definitely like to see that. As far as duds, Sergeant Pickles got sad, groovy, ouchy noises. Dunner still gets lost in the sauce at times, and Av's blue pants still gross. I'll agree with you on that last one there for sure. The Grubauer getting injured, definitely a dud. I might put the Schultz, or at least Schultz Alexiak pairing, maybe.
pair. I was going to add that.
Yeah, that was a little rough at times, but for the most part, I mean, like no duds in this one.
No, I mean, it was just a great all around team effort. When you beat the Avs like that, that's kind of what it has to be.
Yeah.
Now, there's one comment I just want to get, because I don't want it to seem like we've missed it or anything.
Yeah.
But Jules early said, I found a stray kitten on my porch. What would be a good Kraken cat name? So chat, help Jules out. I mean, it's kind of hard to think about this on the fly, but like everyone help Jules out, because that's a great comment. I love cats, and you found a kitten, so it's wonderful. I wanted to make sure we mentioned that one.
Yeah, no, for sure. And feel free to look at the suggestions down there too, RJ, as they stack up.
Okay, yeah. So there we go. They're all helping Jules out. Cool.
Yes. Rock Todd, did they shorten shift changes at the high altitude? I didn't feel like they did tonight. There was plenty of times where guys were out there for, a minute on a shift. And that was when the Kraken were rolling too. Like they had the opportunities to do it, but I don't think they did.
Yeah, no, it seems fairly standard.
Yeah, all the happy emojis and everything. So good to see. So good to see. This is from Coop, trying to imagine what it would be like to have two absolute studs on defense, both under 25. Super jelly. Yeah, but we look so good today.
Yeah, they'll
Aaron,
get there one day. Just you have to have guys develop. You know that you drafted. It's just a luxury the Kraken don't have, having been around for 2 years.
Yeah. Aaron, good day, everyone. RJ, totally agree with what you said. Getting some more pieces, you can really see a difference in speed in Wenberg's line now.
Yeah, I mean, you need line mates that can kind of keep up with the speed of play, where you have that chemistry clicking. It's something that they just didn't have last season. You unfortunately just look at some of the line mates, Wenberg had to play 20 minutes with last season, and it just wasn't the most all-star cast. And you're seeing the difference this year.
Yeah, I wish it worked this way. Lindsay asking the question of, does this mean we're the new Stanley Cup champions after dethroning the Avs? It would be nice to be champs for a night or two.
Hey, the Predators would hang a banner.
That's true. Ouch. Maddie, a few bad passes, but Wright overall, I'm glad he got more ice time. Yes, Wright had two, one in the offensive zone, one in the defensive zone, and that defensive zone one was late. And I said it on the live game commentary. I said, I don't think we'll see him again tonight. And I don't think we did. But yes, a couple times where Wright had the puck along the boards and then just sent a pass before he took a look, and both times just tape to tape right to a Colorado Avalanche player. So Shane Wright's got to work on that a little bit. Gotta take a peek before you just throw a pass like that. Can't be doing those blind. For sure, Dunn had lapses, but this was his most defensively responsible game. No immediate Avs response goals. That's from Daryl. Yes, no response goals in this one. Huge. And I did think that Dunn did have a good bounce back game. There was some good plays in there defensively from him.
Yeah, agreed. Did you see the super chat here from Sergeant Pickles?
Yes, there, it just popped up for me. I don't know why they're delayed now. Your pick for Davy Jones hat, gritty / under the radar player for me. I think Turbo or Wenny. Ooh, that's a good question, Sergeant Pickles, and thanks for the super chat.
Well, here's the thing for me, I feel like, maybe it's cheating if the guy scored a goal or scored the game-winning goal because, it's not gritty or whatever. But Carson Coleman, it's not cheating because we were pointing him out before he scored that goal, long before he scored that goal. He's a bottom six player. I'm giving it to Carson Coleman. I don't care what anyone else says.
I think that's a good one. But yeah, I mean, Turbo had another good game. Pretty consistent from him. Wenberg, I mean, that whole line, that Wenberg line, like they should all share it.
Lots of good choices for sure.
Yeah, they each get 8 hours a day with it. The three of them. That's how you do it. It's like a shared custody situation. Oh man. Okay, so now I got lost where I was. Let me see here. Okay. Also, this is from Lindsay. Will freaking Borgen. I can't believe how many games he was healthy scratched at the start of last year. He's been a revelation. Yeah, I mean, part of that though is because of all the work he put in last year with the coaching staff, with all of the coaches and everything, right? Like they had a plan for him, much like they're saying they have a plan for Shane Wright. We're seeing that plan for Shane Wright, and look at what it did for Will Borgen.
Yep. I mean, coming out of it, like it's that long-term development. So, I mean, yeah, we're getting the dividends with Will Borgen. And I just want to point this out from the bottom of the chat because we were just talking about Carson Coleman, Sergeant Pickles, the Kool-Aid Man merch idea, which gives me an opportunity to plug the merch because I'm actually wearing some of it. And we were talking about Shane Wright. 3 wrongs make a right shirt just came in the mail.
Let's
Boom,
go.
Look at that. Love sticking it to those 3 teams who were, let's be honest, dumb enough to pass on Shane Wright. So yep, I like this shirt. Yeah, it's a good one.
Yeah, I think it's gonna age well. I think so.
And while we plug the merch, I think we should also shout out our sponsor, Queen Anne Beer Hall.
Yes.
Because of course this whole post-game live is presented by Queen Anne Beer Hall, made possible by Queen Anne Beer Hall. It's a great place to watch a hockey game. I'm sure it was rocking tonight. Unfortunately with the live stream and everything couldn't be there. But they had the game on. They always have the hockey game on. And it's going to be a fun atmosphere too. Why don't you try going there? On Sunday they got the Kraken game at 11. It's NFL football Sunday. Just going to be a real fun time.
Can make a day of it. It'd
yeah,
be
you
fun.
you could make a day of it. You absolutely could make a day of it. And then you've got the Firebirds game at Climate Pledge Arena. You could just head over there, make it a whole day at Queen Anne Beer Hall. So thank you again, Queen Anne Beer Hall, for sponsoring this post-game live show. Gary in chat can confirm Queen Anne Beer Hall is legit. Oh, we know. And we're just trying to let everyone know. Thank you for confirming, Gary. All right. Yes. I'll let you get back to chat there, Dylan.
No, it's all good. Aaron, Coolman over Sprong debate over. We were talking about that too during the live game commentary. Yes, I was saying it before he scored the goal. You were saying it before they scored the goal. I think we were all kind of getting on that page. Coolman just works. If anything, just the fact that Yanni has looked so much better with Coolman in the lineup, I think means Coolman over Sprong for the foreseeable future for this team.
Definitely. I mean, because the job is playing with Yanni Gourde. That's the lineup spot right now. And Yanni Gourde loves playing with Carson Coleman.
Yeah. Trips, that shorthanded goal on the turnover was so bad. Glad they were able to rebound. Exactly. They did. They rebound. They didn't give up. They didn't give up response goals. They weren't doing any of that kind of stuff that we were worried about from kind of last week or earlier in this one.
Yep. And it was so bad. And it's so really bad. It's the kind of thing that would have killed them last season where, okay, we're losing this game in regulation. Not even going to get a point out of it. But I think this team is just built different.
It was so bad Grubauer got hurt. Everything about it was terrible. And it was the perfect setup for you to lose that game. Okay, you're playing the Stanley Cup champions. They do that to you. Your goaltender gets hurt and has to leave. Like the stage was set for them to lose that game, for everyone to just be like, well, what are you going to expect in that situation? All things said, right? Like we could totally be having that conversation right now in an alternate universe on the post game about how it's like, yeah, but for the first two periods, they looked really good and these lines are still looking good, right? But instead they rallied. They got the W. They did what needed to be done. And just so happy about that. Yeah, we would not have seen this game last year.
Nope, not at all. It says so much about this team. And also, I just want to point out, we're over 100 people again in the stream. So thank you, everyone who's coming in here watching. Love the turnout. I mean, that's over 100 for each win this season. So let's keep that going.
Yes. And okay, let's see. I think it helps also on the road games.
Yes,
getting people in here.
It's a little earlier here, not too late.
Yeah. Lindsay, when he was on fire too, if he shot more, he definitely would have had a goal tonight. I'm actually pulling it up because I feel like Wenberg these last 2 or 3 games has actually shot more. 3 shots tonight for Wenberg. That's a lot.
Pretty good. We'll take that.
Yeah, I think that's good. Let's see, where are we going? Stu, what's the story on Wright with such limited minutes? He should go back to junior. Thoughts? No, I think the plan is to slowly ease him in, slowly build up his minutes. By the end of this year, he's going to be playing plenty of minutes. I don't think that sending him back to junior would be beneficial to him. The Kraken have basically said as much as well. Playing against lower tier competition, I just don't think it would help him really develop.
Yeah, and having seen this plan start to come together, I think staying here is definitely the best thing for him.
Exactly. Michael bringing up something that, we didn't talk about this enough during the commentary too. Kraken outshot Colorado 38-20. It's the largest shot differential for any team versus Colorado in over 3 years. That is
a fantastic stat. Thank you so much, Michael, for bringing that in the chat. Yes. I mean, in over 3 years, because I was going to say, it's not often the Avs get outshot by that much. It really isn't often they get outshot. Basically, in their current iteration, this is the most they've gotten outshot in a game.
Yeah, for sure. No, the Kraken, like I said, they were just controlling pace of play. Every time you were seeing them, it felt like they were in the offensive zone for whole line groups at a time. It was fantastic. Yeah. Rock Todd, statement game. Didn't Avs sit their starters when we won last year? They sat a couple starters last year when we beat them at Climate Pledge. So yes, this was against them. Almost 100% healthy. Landeskog, of course, out. But otherwise, as Alex points out, very next comment, Makar was in there playing 28 minutes.
Yeah.
And you know what?
Faced the full brunt of that.
Barely noticed him.
Yeah. Barely noticed him at all. There's
Yeah.
only one time I think I said his name during that whole game, and it was when Will Borgen just made a nice play to keep him from gaining the zone.
Yeah, exactly. Lindsay, my studs and duds for tonight. Studs, Wenny, Schwartzy, Coolman, with an honorable mention to my boy Billy Borgs and Steady Eddie Lars. Duds, Schultz and Gru getting injured after a stellar start. Yeah, definitely can't go wrong with those. Those are some sweet nicknames. I enjoy reading that for sure. Um, Let's see. Daryl, 17 goals, 12 players. It's early, but hear us now, Steve Dangle. Teams win, not a player. Ooh, calling out
Oh,
Steve Dangle on the post game live.
shot at the Leafs' whole roster construction. Let's go.
Yes, I love it. I absolutely love it. Jules, I was hoping Gru would get the pirate hat tonight before he got injured. I think he was kind of on his way there. I think there was a good chance he could have seen it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he had a great start to the game. Like there were a lot of good chances against him too. And
Mm-hmm.
if you close it out, you know it's on the goaltending. I think
Yes.
the team rallied around Jones, only allowed one shot since he came in, but I think probably more shots would have been allowed if Grubauer was in there.
Yep. Rock Todd looked like Gru pulled his groin. Yeah, I was trying to get a replay. We were, obviously doing the live game commentary, but it did look like he was not, but he was potentially not pushing off with one of his legs when he skated to the bench in obvious discomfort, which would certainly point to something like that potentially. But that's early speculation for sure. That is not anything that we know definitively, and we won't know till tomorrow. Let's see. Harley, thank God for you all catching me up. Replays are it until ECH and Seattle fam chat. The vibes tonight, stellar. Congrats, Seattle Kraken. Yes, it was a fantastic one. And Creative Mox reminding everybody like the stream. I think that's the one thing we forgot.
Yep, I know.
It's so good at everything else.
Yep, gotta like the stream.
Daryl's studs, McCann, Schultz, Grubauer just don't want to do duds tonight. If ever there was a night to skip the duds, this is the night. Very, very good. All right, let's see here. Hunter, can we get some Jaden Schwartz love? He's been the missing piece this season. He's been playing really well. Obviously gets the power play goal tonight, but I do think that he's a good fit with Maddie, just their style of play and stuff.
He is, and he adds another dimension to the Kraken offense that they were sorely missing last year. I think we all kind of forgot how effective of a player Schwartz can be, and especially in front of the net. He's willing to go to those dirty areas and get some of those net front goals, like on the power play there, with that quick shot in the bumper. That's the kind of stuff I was seeing during training camp. Where Schwartz would just beat a goalie on something like that, where maybe not everyone would, because that shot is just so powerful. It'll go right between the arm through kind of the jersey and the bits of equipment there. But it's great to just see him able to stay healthy. That's the number one thing. Just seeing him out there on the ice.
That is huge for sure. Rock Todd Larson, absolute stud on the penalty kill. Definitely wasn't going to jump over that comment if I didn't have to.
I was going to say,
Sergio, best game. This was best game from Kraken in the season. I feel like it's a playoff battle with the Kraken not eliminated. I mean, it did have that kind of atmosphere around it, this one, where it was just super tense throughout. You could feel that kind of back and forth, both teams trying to, build momentum, grab momentum, keep momentum. Like it had that vibe to it for sure.
Yeah, definitely. Sorry, everyone in chat. I got on the troll there. So
okay.
All good.
Thanks.
Had to hit the block button. Thank you, everyone. Yeah, everyone is bots. Ban hammer incoming. Let's go.
Yeah.
So thank you for getting us on that.
Good night, Kraken Hawk. Grizza Smash. Good to see Grizza Smash's name in here again. I think if Gru gets the defensive support in every game, he's a much better goalie. Good job from him. It did. Yes, I agree with that. Defense has been lackluster so far this season. It feels like every game we're singling out a pair or at least one player and just talking about like, look, a couple goals are like on this person, and that's rough. It's a tough spot for any sort of goaltender to be in.
It is, and I think one thing that made it manageable too is he could see most of the pucks tonight. That's huge.
Yep. Dylan, JBC, Omega, they did it. The improbable happened. Remember when I asked you that question last time? Yep, we remember. Oh, here are all the kitty names. Davy Claus, Caddy Meowneers, Adam Pawson. Oh, I like Addy Possum. Caddy Veneers is good down there from Michael.
Lars after the big cat. Yep.
That's Andre Purakovsky. That's a good
Oh,
one.
this is
Got
good.
lots of good options in here. And then in there, Greg with the bring back Susexiak line. I think they miss each other. You could give it a shot. Although, yeah, I mean, Borgen's really been carrying that third defensive pairing.
Yeah, I'd say he has been. He's been on a hot streak.
Yeah. All right, just gotta try to catch up here a little bit. Um, let's see, where should I go? Got Devin in here. Seattle Kraken are playing great. Vancouver Canucks are the only team in the NHL that doesn't have a win, and credited the only team in the NHL history to give up multiple goals in their first 4 games. The multiple goal leads, yeah.
Yeah,
Canucks are having a rough year, and I'm not crying for them. That's for
I
sure.
don't mind. I don't mind. It'll be interesting. I mean, they have the Kraken, I believe, have the Canucks coming up on the schedule somewhat soon. I'm looking at the one
Are they
right
one of the
here.
games next week? Maybe.
They are one of the games next
Yeah,
week.
that's
I
what I thought.
believe that is next Thursday. So that'll be interesting.
Yep, Brian, got to give Hack props. He kept the same lines in back-to-back games, and the last power play he put out 2 defensemen. Yep, we talked about that too. That was a big deal. It was a good idea. Schultz had an issue with a little bit. He had a turnover in there, couldn't quite hold the line on one of them, but it was a good call to make in that situation for sure.
Yeah, definitely. And I think we're seeing little bits of really good coaching from Dave Haxtell. Like, if when you look closely, like bits of great coaching, I would say,
Yeah,
actually. We're seeing some good coaching all around, but bits of great coaching from Haxtell. And I want those to keep going. I really want that to continue.
yeah. Let's see. Ty, any attendees out there you can think of that could fill in instead of Joey Decor? Waiver wire time? Question mark.
At this point in the season, it's tough. You just
Yeah.
kind of need the chance of someone getting sent down. You can never count on it.
Right. I was gonna say it's obviously not knowing what the situation is with Grubauer either. Yeah, I mean everybody's still in it. Nobody's giving up. Nobody's gonna sell a goalie. Like, trust me, if they were, New Jersey would be all over it right now. that would be
Yeah.
that would be the case for sure. All right, let's see. Trade for Magnus. Yes, get those pads back. He's got to have them kicking around somewhere, right?
Oh yeah, I guarantee he has not gotten rid of those pads yet.
Yes. Said this before the game, but give us Lars Borgi, you cowards, lol, from Sergeant Pickles. That would be like, talk about it. It's like, okay, we got 2 games, 2 minutes left, 1 goal lead, defensive zone start. Those would be the 2 I'd want out there right now from this Kraken.
Yeah, I agree. Those have just been the best guys in that situation. You want them out there.
Yeah, for sure. Brian Studs, Schwartz, Coolman, McCann, Duds, the Vancouver Canucks, who only W was their reverse retro jersey. Yeah, rocking Grubauer on there.
I know. When Dylan pointed that out during the Red Glare podcast, that was great. He's looking at Johnny Canuck. He's like, "Is that not Philip Grubauer? Look at his
Grubauer.
face."
Zoom in on that face. That is Philip Grubauer there.
Yeah, everyone look up Johnny Canuck. It is Philip Grubauer.
Yes. Oh, okay. We got another one here. So Philip Meowbauer.
Okay, Mewbauer. Yeah.
Yeah, Meowbauer. Yeah, Kraken get the Canucks soon. Where has that will to win been? Definitely wanted it more than the Avs. That's from Gary. Yeah, I mean, I think it's been kicking around a little bit in there. They just don't have it early in games. And like, they didn't really totally have it early in this one either, right? They just were able to survive the first 5 or 10 minutes of it. So they still have to work on that. Like, the third period, yes, that if there ever is a time to really pour it on and get the good chances and shut a game down like they did tonight, that is the time to do it. But you don't want situations like that Hurricanes game or the Vegas game where you can't do that because you're in a 4-goal hole going into the third period. So they do need to start better still. I think that's the one area they still really need to work on.
Yeah, it's almost like when they are just kind of ingrained in the game enough, when they've had a bit to just contextualize it one way or another. Like in that St. Louis game, it took that kind of slap in the face, like, oh no, okay, we're down 3-1. That's where we're at. Vegas game, same thing in the third period. They just have to kind of have it develop for a little bit.
Exactly. This is from Gary. Reverse retro is just okay. Nothing I'm wanting to run out and drop 200 plus on. Yeah, I mean, we talked about that a little bit. I think for the Kraken, they did a really good job given what they had to work with, the limited history, the fact that some of the more well-known teams there, like copyright, held in various places. I really like it. I think it looks pretty good, and I think it's in the top half of the league as far as the overall, all of them look.
Yeah, I'd put it in the top half of the league. You'd need a lot for me at those prices, and especially if they aren't like the
Yes.
stitched on authentic, you'd need a lot for me to actually buy one. But yeah, no, I think they did fine.
Yeah, exactly. Um, let's see. Now, for the love that all, for the love of all that is good, can we please get a W against the Canucks next week? That would be good. Need those Pacific Division wins this year. Those are both from Michael. Agreed. I mean, like you want to make the playoffs. That's what you got to do. You gotta get those bigger point swings against those teams. But yeah, it should be fun. Uh,
Yeah.
Infamous, any speculation on what the Metropolitans jerseys are being saved for? Well, as far as we know, it's just because the copyright and everything's tied up with somebody who's not really working with the team.
Yeah, that's what I've heard as far as the story. I've seen hints somewhere that if they are saving it, they're saving it for like maybe an
An
outdoor game.
outdoor.
That's
Yeah.
probably what they would go with if they can find a way to get a deal done.
Yeah. Cameron asking, how did our young guys look at the Firebirds today? RJ, was it fun? Yeah. So you gave us the kind of little intermission report during the first intermission on the other stream. RJ, why don't you fill in people here in post game live a little bit?
Right, so I'll answer Cameron's second question first. Yes, it was very fun. It was a unique atmosphere. The juxtaposition of kind of a smaller rink, minor league game, AHL game, and at a smaller rink that they're used to. So it's almost has like this less kind of serious feel to it, a little bit, just like in a tiny little barn. And then also it was kind of this like luxury VIP type event. I mean, they had you with ice sculptures and shrimp cocktails and fancy cheeses and champagne and all of that. So it looked very interesting, and haven't quite seen anything like that before. So that alone was really interesting.
Mm-hmm.
But then on the ice, how did the young guys look on the Firebirds? The guy I was focused on the most in the game that I really wanted to get a good look at was Riker Evans, and I liked what I saw. He had a shift that was about 40 something second shift where he did a good job playing the body on one of the guys he was matched up against. He kept a forward from driving to the inside, broke up a couple good plays in front of the net where the puck was going to a guy who was streaking in net front. Evans, he didn't play it overly physically, but he just timed it really well where he kind of intercepted the play, tied up the guy's stick, and the play moved on. And then at the very end of the shift, one of the Canucks players came and gave him kind of a shove elbow, to the head, one up high, very far from where the puck was, knocked him down. And then at the very end of the shift, that player came back in by the blue line. Evans made the play to get the puck away from him and then gave him a little shot before heading off to the bench. So it seemed like a guy that was determined not to get thrown around at this higher level. And I think there were some Canucks players who maybe were trying to kind of target the younger guy. Yep. There was another big check that he avoided very cleverly, and it sent a Canucks player flying into the boards. Unfortunately, he got injured on that play, but to see Evans avoid that check was huge. I did post a video of that on Twitter, so you can check that out. But interesting game. Joey Decord, looked fine, looked sharp early on, and then kind of tailed off. Cole Lind, again, just looked like, kind of too good for this level. But that's kind of what you'd expect.
Yep. Sounds good. Thank you for that. Sergeant Pickles, I think the forward lines are set now. Do we adjust the D? I think it's possible because guys are kind of struggling this year. Maybe you shuffle around the D lines just a little bit just to try to get everybody going. I do think if you're going to be making any changes, that's the place to do it. And then also from Sergeant Pickles, does Wright finally break 10 minutes in the next 3 games? I don't know about the next 3 games, but I do think over the course of like next week, those 4 games, I think we'll see it one time at least.
I think we could see that. It wouldn't surprise me. I mean, who knows? Maybe it's in the Vancouver game. Kind of depends what the matchup is. I could see it being that one. And maybe Hackstall will just tell us in advance. He said last game, I just need to get him out there for a couple more minutes tonight. He played almost exactly 2 more minutes tonight. So love the promises made, promises kept there.
Yes. I just think that at some point the Kraken are going to be in a lopsided game, whether they're up a lot or down a lot, and that's the time to
Mhm.
kind of give Shane Wright some more. I think that would be kind of one of those next steps in the plan. 200th career win for Martin Jones tonight. So
Oh,
that's cool.
congrats.
Good, nice little milestone there. Yes, we were talking about retro reverse. Alex said, "Good time to plug the red glare." Yes, we did a breakdown. We reviewed all 32 retro reverse jerseys on this week's Red Glare, the Patreon exclusive podcast.
Yeah, that was fun going through all the jerseys, kind of
Yeah,
kind of reviewing it, getting our first look at it. And the Red Glare podcast, every week we're talking
yep,
NHL news. So you get that every week signing up for the Patreon, among many other things.
yeah. Lindsay, I would have bought a retro reverse if it glowed in the dark, but now I'm gonna wait and see if the price drops. Still salty that Vegas got the glowy one. I'm surprised that they only one team did glow in the dark. Like if that option was on the table, the technology was there. Only
Were they the
one
only
team
team to
gets it?
ask?
Like, I know, like, what the heck? I gotta think Dallas asked. I mean,
Oh, you'd
Dallas
have to
basically made
imagine.
jerseys that already do glow in the dark, but
Yeah, the
it's
regulate. Yeah.
yeah. Ugh. All right, let's see. Sergeant Pickles, I know this is a business, but 300 before tax for reverse retro is insane. I will agree with that, Sergeant Pickles. I think the
Yeah.
price tag is way too high for them. I agree. Could you give quick thoughts on the Kempney contract termination? That's from Coop. Yeah, I think that this was just a situation where it's kind of like a mutual agreeing to part ways so that he can seek better opportunities elsewhere, whether that's Europe or, potentially if another NHL team comes a calling. But I just think that, you know, it's one of those players probably not happy being in that situation. And so you want to let him go and find a better fit for him.
Yeah, I think you said it well. And these situations do happen. You see it a few
Mhm.
times every year with various players. And just wishing him the best. I think it's reported he was going out to Europe. So, wish him
Yeah.
the best in the future.
Let's see, Stuart. They should save Metropolitan jersey for when they make the Stanley Cup final and wear them for the 7 games.
That
That would be so dope.
would be great.
Ty, time to see if Matty can produce not surrounded by studs. His pairing with Berkey is crazy dangerous. I'd love to see him with Bjorkstrand and Berkey. Yeah, I think that would be a lot of fun too. But Matty's a responsible player. He's a smart player. Like I'm not opposed to the idea of him playing with the veterans and then be the more grinded out line. And he's not going to get a point every game, but you know what? It's going to drive possession and let Wenberg is clicking with Bjorkstrand and Burakovsky right now. I don't really want to break them up. Like I think that it's okay if Matty's not like the go-to scoring line.
Agreed. I don't think he has to be kind of that putting up huge numbers star right away. And in fact, it might even help him because it's a long season. It's kind of a long
Mhm.
transition into being someone who, yeah, the rest of the players know you. You're going to have a bit of a target on your back given the first 10 games and how those went. I think it's a good way for him to maybe fly under the radar for a little bit.
Exactly. Sergeant Pickles wondering how the Firebirds jerseys looked out there on the ice.
They look so good. And I heard a few comments from different people I was sitting around that were, I heard one that said, I was so sure I was going to get a home jersey, but after looking, or like one of the, dark blue jerseys, but after looking at these white ones on the ice, I might have to reconsider.
Mhm.
Yeah, they both just look so good. They had some of the dark blue ones because it switches home and away halfway through
Yeah,
the season, the AHL. So, but they had some of the blue ones there. They had like a little merch table and everything. I saw some people wearing them. They look so nice.
they do.
So nice. I got to see them up close. Yeah.
Th-
Get it. If you're thinking about it, you won't be disappointed.
Yeah, that logo is just so sweet. Slap it on anything, I'll buy it. Like it just looks
Yes.
so good. Um, let's see. Cody, last game against the Blues, there was a clear shout of red glare during the anthem. Yeah, I mean, you told me that unprompted after we did last post game from that game.
Every game. It's been every game this season, and I love it. Just know that if you're at the game and you're shouting the red glare for the anthem, it makes me smile every time. And I just like look at the
Yeah.
people next to me in the press bridge, like, huh?
Uh, uh. Yeah, and Sergeant Pickles also pointing that out in the next comment, also adding that they flash the arena lights red for it too. So it does seem
Yeah.
like the team's kind of getting that going.
Good.
All right, so let's see here. Next year is the NHL Blacklight Glow in the Dark year. I would love that. Give it to me. Let's go.
Yeah, we talked about on the Red Glare podcast about the idea of like, switching the color of the ice versus the puck. Just everything black lights is all glow in the dark. That's how you can see everything well.
Yes. Lindsay asking any word on Don Skoy's injury/return timeline.
Nope, nothing. He's been day to day since the preseason, so not expecting to hear any update until he gets back on the ice. That's kind of at the point where I think Hackstall might say
Yeah,
something.
agreed. Jules added us on Twitter so we could see the kitty after stream. Thank you very much. I know
Yes.
RJ is pumped for that.
Yes. Love it.
Mike McBog, need the Kraken in a winter classic already. Only been around 1 year, but come on already. Love it.
I could do an outdoor game.
Yeah. Let's see.
I want to cover one. That'd be so fun.
That would be really fun.
I think they let the media skate on the ice at the rink before, like the day before the game or something too. So you got to come up here for that if they do it.
Well, yes, I was just gonna say. Well, now you just outed yourself on why you wanted so bad, RJ.
There are many reasons one might want to cover an outdoor game. I don't
know. Let's see, Braun. I can't decide whether to finish these last 2 burritos from Taco Bell and just commit to feeling like trash or leave it for tomorrow. Any advice, RJ?
Hey, the Kraken got a huge win tonight. Live it up tonight. Don't worry about tomorrow. Go for it.
Carry that Taco Bell.
I'm not responsible for the results, by the way. Just
yes.
Disclaimer.
So good. Coop with a quick prospect update. David Goyette has 13 points in 8 games so far, 12 points in 9 games for Tucker Robinson, and 8 points in 8 games for the Furcus Circus. Absolutely love it. We're going to be talking prospects next week again on the Patreon. I don't want to be like shoving it down everybody's throats, but yes, next week is the first prospect live stream where we'll all be hanging out and talking about all the prospects. So just throw that out there.
I was like, you have to mention the prospect chat, right? I know. You can't just let this go. But yeah, sorry, I don't want to, overdo it with the Patreon plug. But yeah, it's going to be really great.
Yes. George, thoughts on Larson, Schultz, Dunn, Borgen, and Susexiak. So your first pairing being Larson, Schultz, second pairing Dunn, Borgen, third pairing Susexiak. That's not bad. Well, the only problem is Larson and Schultz play the same side.
That's what I was going to say. They're both righties. I don't think that would work all that well.
Yeah. So that's the only problem there. I think what I would probably do is I would swap why am I spacing the tall one? Alexiak. I would swap
You're
Alexiak and Dunn. I know. I would swap Alexiak and Dunn still. I think I'm still sticking with that idea and let Dunn and Schultz go out there together. I mean, maybe that would be a disaster after these last 2 games, watching them be the guys struggling, but I still think that would be the way to go. Yeah. Would love to see a Kraken drawing on a jersey or sweater. I know that would be cool, but I just don't think it's going to happen.
Yeah, we got to work on getting our logo up there on a jersey.
Get that out. Cody, I'm taking my daughter 8 to her first game on the 25th against the Sabres. Got her a Tanev jersey to boot. That doing it right. That's how you roll for sure. Hope she has an awesome time at that. Yes, the tall one. Lindsay giving me grief.
Well, we've been streaming for what? Let's see, almost 4 hours.
4 hours, yeah. So 4 hours straight. That's how it goes. Hey, Alexiak get into a fight. We talked about this in the first period. That we from like a quick count, 4 fights on the year for the Kraken, 4 fights in 6 games. It's a lot.
Yeah, it is. I'm trying to figure out the pace. Pull up Excel spreadsheet equals 6. Oh wait, 4 fights in 6 games equals 4 divided by 6.
77
times 82.
That was my guess earlier.
All right, yeah. So here's the pace. 50. That's up pace for 54.6. So like, let's call it 55 fights.
That's why I don't do math.
It's so much easier. You just pull up the Excel formula thing.
Oh yes, that's the easiest. It's easier than pulling up the calendar on the calendar.
Yeah, it's easier.
4 hours, people. 4 hours.
Oh man, chat, put Dylan out of his misery here, man.
I know. I was gonna say, let's do a last call on comments here. We're at the bottom. If I skipped anything, if you want read now, that's the time to do it. Alex is eating a celebratory salad. Very responsible there. Gary letting people know, think you could use the Kraken app to have Bowie visit your seats. Yeah, that is pretty cool.
Wow, that's some innovation there.
I know, it's really cool. Let's see. I missed if there was anything that sparked that fight or just another case of everyone wants to go with the big rig from Rebecca. We didn't really totally notice anything when it happened either. We kind of had that same question. It sounded like just, there was a check and he was fighting McDermott. That's just what
Yeah,
happens.
we couldn't find anything.
Dude's always off to willing to fight as well. Sergeant Pickles off to bed. OT this weekend. Thanks again, everyone, and enjoy this W. We will. Good night, Sergeant Pickles. Thanks for being here. Thanks for the super chats. Always a pleasure.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. I think everybody's ready to head off. Lindsay's coming in clutch for me, getting me out of here. Sounds like. Go get some sleep. All right. It was awesome, everybody. This was such a fun win. Best game of the year for the Kraken, I think, hands down for sure. Potentially best game for the Kraken of all time. Just super, super happy. Loving these forward lines, loving the fight, the determination, the ability to hold on to the win, and Jaden Schwartz finally reaching Geno Smith levels of ability.
Yes, finally. That's a good way to kick it off. Yeah, and let's do it all again on Sunday.
Yes.
You know what? Because we can, guess what? There's more games. We can do this again. The Kraken can win more games. It'll be early because it's an 11 a.m. game on Sunday.
Yes.
So everyone remember that, by the way.
that.
So it'll probably be early afternoon. We'll join you. Hopefully that works with everyone's schedule. And yeah, I want to say, Lindsay, see you in net Sunday, RJ. Yeah, I'm subbing for Lindsay's beer league team as a goalie. So everyone, wish me luck on that one.
Fingers crossed on that.
The respect I will have for Grubauer and Martin Jones renewed.
Serious, right? Seriously. Thank you so much for all the kind stuff here at the end, everybody. Really, really do appreciate that. I do notice it. We do notice it at the end of every stream. Much appreciated. But yes, that's going to do it for this one. Fabulous win for the Kraken. Once again, thank you so much, Queen Anne Beer Hall, for sponsoring these post-game lives. Thanks to everybody who joined us for the Patreon live commentary. That was a lot of fun. Glad we got to kick off the year doing those with a win. That's always happy. And yeah, let's go. RJ, you're gonna need picks. Being in net. That's what the people want.
All right. I will take picks. Picks will happen. And yeah, everyone will have proof.
All right, awesome. All right, we'll see you all on Sunday after hopefully another Kraken win, everybody. See you next time.